Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Benny Keys and this is Piano Decoded. Today I want to attack a hot topic which you're probably sick of hearing about, but I'm hoping I can give a slightly different slant on it to what's out there, and that is AI music. So I'd just like to start by talking about where AI music is actually at the moment, because maybe you don't know. And the situation is basically currently that you can go to a website like Suno, type in a prompt like I want a reggae tune in D minor about Donald Trump, and it will produce something for you which is passable, maybe not brilliant, but it certainly just sounds like a song. And there are also further tools that are available, like you can play a really rough acoustic guitar part, say, and you can put it in Suno and tell it to make it into a full electric guitar arrangement with strings, and it will sort of pump this out for you. And the situation is also that most people actually just can't tell. I'm arrogant enough to think I haven't been fooled by AI music yet, but there have been studies and it seems like the majority of the listening public can't actually tell whether a tune has been made by a person or AI. So the question is, where does this leave us as artists? Because this is obviously feels like quite an existential threat, right? And we'll hopefully come round to that. The first thing I want to talk about, which I think this technology rather challenges, is the idea of music as a product. And I was definitely, when I learned to produce especially, I was definitely brought up with this idea that music is about the outcome. It sort of doesn't matter what you do. All that matters is the product that you produce. And the quality of that product will define whether people are interested in what you're doing. And for me, that's how I kind of got into, hip hop and stuff, because I was like, well, these people aren't playing instruments in an impressive way, but there's the thing that they're producing is really cool. It makes me nod my head, right? And actually, I think that as a philosophy, which I think has been dominant for about 30 years, is now kind of dead. And it's interesting to think about why it worked. And I think the reason that the philosophy of it's only the product, the outcome that matters, the reason I think that was functional for quite a long time is because it still required virtuosity and skill to use the tools that were available to produce music. So let me be more specific there. People thought that when the digital audio workstation came out that recording engineers would be out of a job and that music was too easy to make. And actually, the reality has turned out that it still required real skill and virtuosity to use computers to make music. So we were able to just focus on the outcome, and that kind of gave us some kind of, that correlated strongly, if you like, with the process that someone had carried out to produce that music. So it's like, if the outcome's really good, it was almost an implication that they had to have carried out an interesting or a skilled process in order to produce that outcome. And this is precisely what AI challenges. It's now no longer the case that you need to have any skill, really. Some prompters might disagree with that, but I think we've now reached a stage where you can produce high quality music without any meaningful engagement in skill and process. And that's kind of what's changed, I think, here. So the question is, now we've reached this place where really the idea of music as a product, I think, is dead. What do we do as an artist? What do we sell, even, right? To put it bluntly, what are we selling here? Because if an AI can make a tune that's as good as mine in a few seconds, what value am I actually providing? And I think the answer is, which I've said a couple of times already, is what we're selling, what we're doing as artists is a process rather than a product. And actually, I think that the industry already knows this. Everyone knows now that you can make the best tune of the year, stick it on Spotify. If you don't have some kind of audience or marketing or some hook, no one will listen to it. So it's actually been the case for quite a long time that as well as just producing a good product, you have to sell a story about how the product was made, who you are, what's going on in your life, and sort of give this wider context to the music, more often on social media these days, right? So I'm hoping to leave this video on maybe a positive-ish note that I think there's still a place for human musicians, but that we need to engage people in our process. We need to build communities, we need to perform, join bands, whatever it is, but we need to create this wider context around the music, which is what's going to give it its value. The age of I'm going to make a really good tune and everyone's going to love it is dead, and I actually think it's been dead for quite a while. So that's the video, guys. Short and sweet, hopefully. If there's any message you can take from this, sell your process, elaborate your process. And this is exactly what I'm doing on YouTube, right? This is why musicians talking on YouTube is massive, because it gives you this insight into our process, into our inner world. And that's the thing you need to hook people into to get people interested. It's no longer, and AI makes this very stark, it's no longer just about the music, and actually it hasn't been for quite a while. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Catch you in the next video. Nice one, guys.